Okay, what's up, people? So we're back. 228, 349. That was like an hour and 21 minutes. Not terrible. You know. You know, it is what it is. So we're gonna go like probably another hour. Honestly, I'll just do one more hour. So I like spent a lot of time talking about the spent a lot of time talking about the locks that I was trying to get figured out, and I pretty much have them figured out. It's it's a lot to work through, um, but I was kind of being dumb. I got three dumb strikes last session, and I was like I was gonna try to see if I could get away with not putting using re-entrant locks. I was gonna just put the lock in the dirt check location so I wouldn't have to do recursive and recursive locking where I wouldn't have to have the locks in two locations. But I can't do that because the setter, like, I was just not thinking about the main thread as well. The main thread is going to need to modify the attribute through the setter as well. So like the setter is going to need to have, and the getter is going to need to have the lock. So that means places where, and I just want to shut up and code, you know, but I can't. Like, I have to figure out, I have to talk through this because I just have to, or think through it. But talking is, for me, like about as fast as thinking, and I'm pretty sure talking through it actually helps me to be like more logical. When I just think about it, I will kind of jump, you know, like from one spot to another and make assumptions. Best where when I talk through it, it's more like step by step. It's more precise and it's a little slower, but it's like more accurate, I think, as far as boots on the ground, you know. So we have to have re-entrant lock because of the main thread and the client thread. So because well, that's not true. We don't. We could just get rid of the lock in we could get a lock, use the lock in the setter, and we don't have to use a lock anywhere else. If we use the lock in the setter, we don't have to use the lock in dirt check, right? So if we go to client, these right here, as long as every one of these has a lock in the setter, then that means we don't need to use the lock here. But this also means that we don't need this if right here. We would only need to check this line right here. So we could just nix this, have the, and since it is a calculated property, as long as it's in the getter or the setter, anytime it's accessed or set, we would trigger the lock. So yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. There's no reason to have this lock here if the lock's already in the setter. If the lock has to be in the setter, which we just determined that it does, and this calls the setter, there's no reason to use a lock immediately before it. That's just overkill. So yeah, we're gonna roll with that. Yeah, and this is what programming is: thinking through it and talking through it and figuring out the right way to do it. Because you just throw some code up there, buddy, I mean, you could just do that, but it will get ugly, you know? Like, it really will get ugly if you do it. If you consistently just throw some code up there, it will get ugly fast. If you're at the beginning stage of your project, that's different. But like when you're working with like an almost finished product like this, you really have to pay attention to the details so you don't mess shit up, you know what I mean? So we're gonna get rid of this. Which means, damn, so like we don't need the lock dict at all. Let me just make sure before I do this that this is what I want to do. So if we get rid of this, we're not gonna need the lock dict, the game lock dict anymore. The only places it's used is these two places and then right here. Yeah, it's not a big deal. As long as it's right when it's finished, that's all I care about. Take a little bit extra time, that's no big deal. So yeah, we're gonna nix this. So we'll say goodbye to that. And so we get rid of this. And then here we get rid of this as well. Get rid of this. Yeah, you know what? I'm glad to be rid of that too, because that was extra code, you know what I mean? That was just extra. Now look how simple this is. Bam, boom. There's definitely something to be said about keeping things simple. It's just nice. So I don't think we're actually gonna need this anymore. We'll leave it just in case. So I'll put a caution comment here, and we're gonna say ended up removing the code associated with this as it was determined to be unnecessary, leaving until I am 100% sure it's okay to it's unnecessary. Yeah, and it's always good to save your code that you're like gonna get rid of, like code that you think is dead. Just hang on to it for a little bit, comment it out, put a little put a caution comment above it, and then make sure things, you know, things change. You might come back and say, hey, actually I did need that, you know, for a different reason. So, you know, just keep it around for a little bit. You can always just delete it, just comment it out. It's like it's not there. Alright, so what do we put here? We put determine if we should add lock in setters or if we should add lock require every time adder is yet. We're definitely not gonna do the every time thing. Well, for one, it's about consistency, right? Like we know that for all of these, we know, hey, these are, except for these three, all of these are calculated properties. We know exactly where the locks are going to be. It's going to be in one place. It's going to be simple. Bam. Go to the setter, go to the getter. There's the lock. Easy. It's categorized, organized. If we do it everywhere it occurs, yeah, it's going to be a little bit more performant. It's going to be a little faster. But it's also going to muddy up all of that code. And it's going to, like, for progression text, we use progression text a lot. We probably changed that like 50 times. You know, at least like 20, 30 times. Do I want to add 20, 30 lines to the code, to progression, adding in, you know, no. That's what setters are for. That's like the whole reason I use setters and stuff, is to have it all in one place. It puts it out of the way. It puts it in. You don't have to write it 20 times. You write it once. So that's 20 less possibilities for me to make a mistake and create a bug because I just, you know, put it in the wrong spot or whatever and cause a deadlock or some shit. So, and another thing, since we're not doing the dir check receive locks, means we don't need to do reentrant locks. We don't have to do any recursive locking at all, I don't think. So that's another plus to this. To doing it this way. It's weird. I started drinking. I got a coffee from McDonald's. I never do this, but I'm on vacation, so I was like, I'll treat myself. I got a little coffee from McDonald's, and some free fries. It's Free Fry Friday, and usually I don't really eat fast food, and I eat really healthy and stuff. But yeah, I'm on vacation. Treat myself. Started drinking that coffee. My back was really hurting me. I started drinking that coffee, and I'm telling you, dude, it felt like it started helping my back. It's weird. I know when I'm sick. Like if I have a cold and I drink coffee, it makes me feel better. Like the caffeine, like, I don't know, it does something. It makes me feel better. I feel like the same thing happened with my back pain drinking coffee. Strange. I don't know. Maybe I just like imagined it. So we don't need reentrant locks. Let's clean this up some. So we created the locks actually. We did. We created all of them. But did we create skeleton clickable card list lock? So we did. And we made them R locks, but we actually don't need them to be R locks. We just need them to be regular locks. So this is done. Yeah, no reentrant lock because there's not gonna be any recursive locking going on here. Yeah. Okay, so this create game dir check locks. Yeah, we created all this. Yeah, so as I was saying, since we modified progression text 20, 30 times, we're not going to want to, do that every time. So no, we're not doing that. And then that would make progression text the odd man out. So I actually do that with certain things, like I do it adder specific, but it's just like, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There's like 20. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna do it for selected choice. So if the only cost is like basically the same amount of lines, if it occurs 6 times, that's 6 lines. And then we're gonna add what, 10 lines to the, not even 10 lines, honestly, like 6 lines to the setter, and it's the same thing, and it's better to have it in one place. So I don't mind muddying up the setter and the getter a little bit. It's not like fucking rocket science. It's not that complicated either way. So we're not gonna be that petty. We're just gonna do them all in the setter and the getter, as long as they're a calculated property. So this can go away. Now we have move locks to proper location, implement game locks logic. And I don't think this is not completely done. Needs review. Yeah, it's definitely not done, because we're not even done, like, yeah, it's definitely not done. So we could just make the list here, that same list, which is in, go to game, and go to the top, and basically all these that are what's the one, where did we make that list at? That said, here it is, right here. So, race condition prone, race condition prone, yeah, okay. So we checked all these. What I want to do is basically put this same here. Because I need to know if the rest of these are race condition prone. So like we'll just do it like this, one by one. I'm gonna copy this race condition. Well, yeah, these are, yeah, they are race condition prone, actually. So we did verify all of them. The only one that's the odd man out was Round End Winter Sound Bool, because that one's derivative. Uh, Alright. So, we're going to go through this list. We'll copy it. And, see how cool that was? Yeah, multi-cursor's fucking awesome. Honestly, it's a revolutionary change. So what are we doing? Alright, so we're getting this cleared. Review all shared objects to ensure they're not shared. All we have, all we, so I was thinking a way to shorten up this race condition prone. Couldn't I just change that to say share, thread shared thread shared. Multi-thread, multi-thread, shared multi-thread, shared multi-thread. Doesn't matter now. Doesn't matter, dude. That's fine. Verified race condition prone. Okay, so we have P1, P2 games, some shared. Go back and triple check deck and P1, P2 to see if they are modified through event handler, draw window main again. Because I previously assumed that since those only ran in CS, they wouldn't be considered shared, but actually they would be. It's because they are one access server side and also modified and transferred client side. True. Yeah. As long as they're transferred. There we go. That's a lot cleaner. So we're almost done cleaning this up, and then we can get to work on it. But this got a little messy. I didn't like it. This implies adding logic to check for shared object adders during indirect namespace. It implies adding logic to check for shared object adders during indirect namespace adder modifications, such as in SS dir check receive section, such as else clauses for time tube adders, etc. Would have to add an explicit namespace check. Never get your triple check these location definitely running on logic. Yeah, so this actually is true for like, even though we removed it in the instance of dir check we were just looking at, if we were dealing with a non-property object that is transferred and is race condition prone, and we refer to it through an indirect namespace, access or modification in dir check through like a dictionary or something, or adder name string, whatever, we would still need the lock there because we're going to end up calling set adder on it, or get adder in the case of sending for dir check. And then also like other places like dir check. I don't really know if there's any other places that would use indirect namespace, like, you know, like through hot potato arg passing or whatever, where you might not think it's handling that attribute, but it is. I'm not sure if we do that anywhere else except the except there. Oh yeah, there goes my back. Oh shit. It's like out of nowhere, like it was fine, and then okay, so we can minimize this. Created the lock objects. Now we need to move the locks to the proper location. All right, so you see we're ordered now. This is nice. Alright, so we got this figured out. There we go. Alright, so now we have the next thing that needs to be done is move locks to the proper location alongside associated adders. That's what we'll do first. But I actually have to use the restroom, so. Back in a second. What's up, dudes? Let's let's knock out this last little bit. I might go a little bit more. I don't know. We'll see. Let's play it by ear. Okay, so we got it nice and organized here in our to-do. So now we're gonna move the locks to the proper location alongside the associated attributes. See line number 234 in GamePy. So let's go to Game, and let me just pause for a second. Let me make sure that I didn't overlook anything. So like, okay, so first of all, we don't need them to be re-entrant locks. Remember, we just like, at least as of now, we don't see that they need to be re-entrant locks. We're gonna do that on a case by case, adder by adder basis. Fucking backs start hurting, man. And we're gonna determine that. So we can go ahead and move those, but I just wanted to make sure there's not something I was forgetting. We removed the game locked dict, and we had created the first 3 adder logic. We modified their setters and created the core function and all that. That needs to remain. Yeah, I was just triple checking, making sure I wasn't like leaving any loose ends or whatever with the previous steps I was working on. Yeah, so I think we're good. Let's go to 234. Now we can move these to their final boom. And you know, we could just leave all the locks together. You know what I mean? Like this. I kind of like that. Just having all the locks together. I mean, it makes sense. Like, that's normally what we do. There's not a real reason to have them exist by the associated attribute. There's not. There's really not. So yeah, I'm gonna move them. I'm gonna put them all in one place. I like that better. It's cleaner. So this, let's finish here. I feel like overall I've gotten pretty good at programming. I mean, well, I don't know. It's like I guess it's like a guy like me who works out on the heavy bag and stuff a lot and thinks that he's in shape, you know. Goes to the gym, but then like when you really step into the ring, aka like get a real job doing programming, probably not as good as I think I am, you know. So click card active, choose. I want these to be in alphabetical order because that's nice. So it was CH, then CL. But shouldn't we also create the we didn't create the locks for, yeah, we did. Skeleton clickable card list. Yeah, we did. Okay. Yeah, those are here. Okay. We have the ID is separate. So we previously thought that enter continue text active did need to be a re-entrant lock, but we have since determined that's not the case because we removed the dir check lock acquisition. So we can move away from that idea. We don't need a re-entrant lock. We just have to make sure that the lock is acquired in the setter when it's derivatively assigned through the choose multiple cards setter. Yep. So this comment is no longer valid. We have fucking back pain. That's what we have. We have fucking back pain right now. Jesus Christ. So that was. So we're gonna go through here. That's what I'll do. We're gonna just go boom. Then we're gonna get rid of that one. Then we hit end and then go. We're gonna get rid of the R from R lock. That didn't work out. One of these is off. There we go. Okay, so now these are back to being regular locks, and we have to determine one by one whether lock should be regular or re-entrant. But I don't think any of them would need to be re-entrant, would they? Because they shouldn't be, because we wouldn't. We're not recursively gonna set them. The only way that we would recursively set them would be is if we modify it, and then within modifying it, like we modify it again. I just don't see that being the case. Like 99% sure we're not gonna have to do that. I don't think we will, man. I'm gonna go ahead and say no, we're not gonna. Okay, so we did that. We moved the locks. Did we move all of them? Yep. Alright, so now we have to implement the game object lock logic one by one. We had our timer, so let's reset it. Okay, so now we just need to go through each one. We'll start at choose multiple cards, and these first three should be done actually. I just want to really triple check them and make sure they are correct, because there was so much confusion before about whether or not they should you know, like how they should be implemented and all the associated logic and everything. Good. Okay. We're good on choose multiple cards. That one's done. Alright. Next one. Click card active. Yeah, we're good. We don't as long as it's in the setter in the getter, we're good. And it was in the getter and the setter. Yep. Yep. Alright, so that one's done. Alright, now enter continuous text active. That one's good. And I'm just reminding myself to check dir check. We'll do a dir check at the end. Now, as far as this section that we had here, 320, okay. This one right here, I will put a comment that says don't need to use adder associated adder blocks prior to this line since they are already run in setters. They're already required. Headset's putting the squeeze on me, you dig? Alright, dudes. I just wanted to add that there. And we'll put the same thing here on this. I don't know why I went all caps lock. Like, I started doing caps lock a lot. I really don't like. Some things need to be caps locked to be like, hey, don't forget this, because you forget this sometimes. You know, like, you're known for forgetting this. I don't necessarily know if this is going to be one of those things. I think I should probably default to lowercase, and then, like, if I forget it in the future, then change it to uppercase. If I still forget it, it's still not got my attention or whatever. Okay. So that one's done. Game state. Game state is not. Okay. Yeah. So we just need to add it. Add the logic here and in this setter here. Okay. Yeah. Alright. Yeah, I'm getting a little sleepy here. Starting to crash. Think I'm gonna quit. Think I'm gonna call it quits here. How long have we been going? It's been an hour 15 plus what I did before. 2 hours and 15. 2 hours and 20. 2 hours and 23. So 223 and then 120. That's 343, right? 343. That's pretty good. Okay. We'll finish this. Alright, so we need to add it in the getter. You can't really work on programming when you're like sleepy, because you will just make mistakes. Like you'll just mess your code up. So it's not something that you can do when you're tired. You just can't do it. You'll mess it up more than you improve it. It's like negative work. It's like going backwards. It's not good. So game state. We're gonna say. So we need to check if. There we go. Change attribute list. Typing will help me to wake up. Change attribute list SLCS is equal to SS for server side. Well then with game state lock. Do that. Okay. And then else, which is the same as saying elif, change attribute list to CS, will then just return without using lock. Let's review. Review game state, so SCS is equal to SS with self game state block. Return self game state. And then else, which is elif SS to CS. Return game state. Okay, then in the setter we do the same thing. Gonna have okay, so we changed it. Let's review. So now we have setter, game state, and then we div core func taking self val. Proper indentation runs all the typical code that it would in the setter. Then we have a new div on same indentation at the base level of the setter. Check SSCS as SS. In that case, use lock, game state lock, then call core function. Yeah. Then else, which is elif SSCS is CS. Then we just call core function straight up. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Alright, that's good. So we're done with that one. Let's go over here. Next one, input text final. Or that one's easy. Is this one even up? Oh, this one protects. Hold up, wait. This one isn't a property. Input text final is verified shared, but input text final is not a. And it's only changed once. It's not a Is it in that dictionary that I created? I did have it in that dictionary, it didn't need to be there. Why does it do that? Because I didn't have it open. On this side, whatever it's called, like the group. I'm always in the wrong group over there. Alright, so it's modified here. Text final. Text final. So we need to use it here. So say with self input text final lock. the fuck do you spell unnecessarily? I don't know if that's right. Whatever. It's not a spelling bee, my dude. That's good. I think. Oh, almost fucked up. Almost fucked up. We have to put an else to release. That's the tricky thing about this. Almost got me. Because we acquire it here, and then if it enters into this if, it will release it, but if not, it doesn't. Yeah. Alright, so we need to do that here too. There you go. Here we go. Done. Okay, yeah, and I think I'm gonna quit here. I'm done. I did like an extra 15 minutes to get to hit that 4 hour mark, I think, which is what I wanted to get to. So we did good. Let's see. So an hour 35 and an hour 35 and 2:23. Yeah, that's almost exactly 4 hours. So that's really what I wanted to hit. All right, so what we'll do is go to things to do here and right, input text final is done. Okay, and then we're gonna put right here we stop. 424 stopped here. 38 and things to do. .23 and 223 and 111 plus 28. 11 and 28 is 39. So 139 and 223. So 140 and 223. 140 and 223. That's 4 hours and 3 minutes. 4 hours. Took me a little took me a little while to compute that there. CPU was lagging a little bit. Alright, so we're gonna do git branch. We're at the root of the project directory to ensure that whenever we add, it takes that into account, you know, from what level of the directory you're at. So we're going to git branch to make sure we're on the right branch. We are on secondary, that's correct. So we're going to do git add dot to add everything. Ignore the LF warnings. We're going to do git commit -m, double quotes, paste in our devlog, double quotes, close, hit enter. So we successfully committed 10 files change, 146 insertions, 141 deletions. Then we're going to do git push Canasta secondary to push to the remote repository. And yeah, that did work. So now we're gonna exit out of this. We're gonna go to programming, projects, Canasta. We're gonna copy this one, go back out, go to the backup, delete the old one, paste in the new one, and then we're gonna enter into it, go into text, go into devlog. We're going to go to the end and check the date 10/4/24. That is today's date, so now we can back up again. Change this to be 10/4/24. Okay. So we're backed up and we did good today. I'm happy with today. We got a lot done. Yeah, so I'm happy. We made a lot of progress. We're gonna be moving on to bigger and better things. We're gonna be done with the locks. Probably, since we got all the logic and everything figured out, that was like learning something new kind of. So, because I never dealt with reentrant logic before, so like that was most of the work. Honestly, I think going through the rest of it is going to be pretty straightforward, pretty easy. We just have to do the same thing we did with the P1 game, P2 game, with player and deck and locations and stuff, all the rest of the other transfer stuff to check all that for if it needs a lock. And yeah, so I'm thinking within a couple days we'll be done with the lock stuff, and hopefully that will work out a couple bugs, because I'm pretty sure that's a cause of some bugs that I didn't really I didn't really grasp that it was, but I think now I do understand, and hopefully this will fix some of the bugs, and you know, then we can just move forward with the rest of those non-pressing issues, most of which are going to be, you know, pretty easy, maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes at most, maybe a day per task. So we'll say an hour on average. There's probably got about 20 of those left, so about 20 hours plus the 2 days, and then plus like debugging, we'll say a week or two for debugging. So you're looking at, you know what, 3 days, 14, 15, 16, 17, and then we'll just say a couple days for those smaller tasks. So we'll just say 20 days. So 20 more days of work, and you should be done, guys. You should be done with this fucking project, like the game, you know what I mean? And then we can move on to database. We can add databases, we can add the other things that we had been wanting to add but just never could get around to getting in. So, alright, have a good weekend.